Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Getting Together. I am Jeremy Brinkerhoff, and this is my co-host.
Did you forget my name?
No, not this time.
Ray Challinor.
There you go.
Ray. You can call me Ray. Do you have my name written on your hand or something?
Ray.
What are you looking at?
No, I was just thrumming. I was like kind of like, that's all. Man, can't do nothing.
Hey,
over here.
it's May. May is what, Jeremy?
Mother's Day.
No.
Foster care awareness.
Yes, another one. Get attached.
Get attached.
Get to attached. Foster care
with
awareness
our
month.
Telepathic abilities. Somehow we both had pink.
Yes.
Which is great.
The flamingos.
Flamingo pink. And then
Did we
pink.
Remember the guy's name? Jimmy Buffett.
There you go.
Boom.
Just came.
As we were coming in, I was like, you look very, and then I was like, the guitar guy.
Margaritaville.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. And we could not remember his name.
No, and there were three of us. We had Brandon Eubanks, who we had on the show.
Right.
And all three of us were like, oh,
I'm gonna.
This
And
is
now
what
I remember.
happens when you get old.
Yep. But I remembered Jimmy Buffett. That's
Jimmy
what
Buffett. Thank you. Jimmy
you're channeling your Jimmy Buffett.
Which is a very small part of me, if at all.
Do you like any of his music?
Not really. Not my style.
Hum along to it? Nothing? In the
no, because it's not my thing. Wow.
I know. Our guest is here, and we're not going to tell you yet, but she came in with her pretty crown on.
Yes, she did.
Are you jealous? Do you wish you had a crown?
Well, that's just for days that no one else is around.
Cape and a crown.
Cape and a crown.
All right, what are we talking about this morning?
Well,
I know they're waiting with bated breath. All our viewers are waiting. What is it? What are they going to talk about today?
Well, we both have kids in grade school.
Together?
I have a couple of high schoolers, but we also have kids in grade school.
Yes.
And even in smaller classes. So our kids are in this thing, a micro school.
Yes,
and
love
so
it.
classroom
Highly
sizes
recommend.
are small. There are lots of really cool aspects about this.
Yeah.
But just because there are fewer kids and smaller things and at a Christian location does not negate the fact that you can be bullied or that there could be bullies, because
people are people.
Turns out human nature is human nature.
We all need Jesus.
We all need Jesus.
That's right.
In increasing measure daily.
So your son whacked my daughter with a metal pole.
Yes. However, it was in response to
her
him. Yes.
whacking him with the metal pole first.
Yes.
Do you remember the old tether balls, right? So our school is so low budget that they just have like the tire with the cement and the pole in it.
Yes.
There's no ball.
Oh, no.
So they thought, hey, this would be fun. Let's pull it back
and then just
let it go. Right? So I think your son was in the way first.
Yes.
I think he was on it. Anyway, my daughter let it go. And and did a little damage to your sweet boy. And then next day.
You got to one up it.
Next day.
Yeah.
You would think they would learn, but no. Let's play with the metal pole again.
Yes.
And my daughter was on the receiving end.
Yes. And he pulled it back almost to the ground, from what I understand.
Big egg on her head. She took it like a trooper, egg. Man.
Yep. Didn't break the skin, so there's still a level up from there.
She took it. She took it like a trooper.
That's awesome.
But then she came home and she tattled. Do you know what he did to me today? But I said, all fairness, you did it first.
Yes.
So what kind of a parent are you? Are you like you didn't call us. You weren't like.
I thought I did.
Challinors. Well, you sent a funny text.
A funny text? I don't try to be funny.
I think you were like.
Goose egg. Sucker. Got you back.
No, but I mean when my child hurt yours. You didn't text me and you weren't like, what the heck, Ray?
Oh no.
Control your kid.
No, because with the circumstances surrounding it, it didn't sound like it was in. It wasn't like a bullying thing.
She was totally oblivious.
Yes. And so there wasn't that. There's a word there, the word.
Right.
Where there's some sort of malfeasance.
Right. She was not malicious.
Malicious. That's the one I'm looking for. So yeah, there was no malicious intent.
She doesn't
like
have
that.
any of that.
That's not worth giving a call and being like, hey, what gives, Challinor?
Okay, but I think there was another
Plus,
incident
I'm scared of Andy.
Where your son was trying to be very chivalrous. He was trying to be a gentleman. One of the girls had lost something in the field.
Yes.
But there was barbed wire between them and the object. And so he asked my daughter would you hold the barbed wire up so he could slink through, retrieve said object
without getting caught,
and be the hero
Yes.
without getting caught, right? And so part of that plan worked really well until my daughter, who was holding the barbed wire, realized this is a little harder than I thought. Your son was halfway through and
muscles
she
start quaking.
let it go on his back.
Oh, yeah.
Did he tell you about that?
Oh, yeah. He had a nice little scrape, little scratch there. But again, it was one of those things. When he tells me the story, he's actually like, "Oh, gosh, she was trying to be nice, and she accidentally let it go." And so there wasn't this thing of, man, I hurt feelings and ill intent. She
felt terrible, but she said, "Mom, I did laugh," and I think she gets that from me.
Yes, it's hard. It's a hard thing. So this is kind of an aside, but when we were in Vanuatu, overseas, it's a small island chain in the South Pacific, so halfway between Fiji and Australia. Okay. One of the things that we thought, I mean, like, you expect this from kids, right? That something kind of happens and it's like a Three Stooges moment. Physical humor. You're like, no, actually, that person is hurt.
Yes.
But in Vanuatu, like, culturally, you'd see this in adults. We actually saw a guy get hit by a car on the street. This taxi's going down. He gets hit by a car. And all these men that are on the street at the same time, they are pointing and laughing. I mean, like, doubled over. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Oh,
like,
my word.
We're supposed to be able to like hide that now. We're supposed to hide that now. We're supposed to be better at hiding that person after we ask, like, are you okay, but no, that was a little shocking the first few times. We're like, oh, that person's really hurt, and everyone's doubled over laughing. But anyway,
but you introed with, I mean, our school is small, but there's still bullies.
Oh yeah.
And my son was on the receiving end of that on Thursday. One of the other students, a newer student, kind of young, and was bullied at a previous school, which is why she switched schools. And so she's got a personality where it's very vivacious.
Oh, okay, vivacious. We can't use that word.
Why?
Because I found out it actually means something that I didn't think it meant.
What does it mean?
Because I used it in front of Marissa.
Full of life.
Well, that's what I thought.
Yes.
So I was talking to Marissa the other day.
Look at your face. You're all excited.
Oh gosh, because I felt so bad. Because I'm talking to Marissa. We're at the kitchen table, whatever, getting stuff ready for dinner, and I'm talking about this lady. I don't even remember who it was. I'm like, oh, she's so vivacious. And Marissa's like, excuse me? I'm like, vivacious. And she's like, okay.
Is that where va-va-voom comes from?
It's that same kind of thing. Oh. So I was like, no, it just means full of life. So we're like, hey, Alexa, what does vivacious mean? And she's like, it's a sultry blah, blah, blah that has a sexual I'm like, oh.
You got in trouble.
And Marissa saw this later today. She was rather vivacious. Has more of a Jessica Rabbit kind of thing.
I'm going to take that back then.
Yep.
That's what my kids do
so,
when we want to take something back.
A little girl, not vivacious.
All right. Full of life.
She was full of life.
I'm just going to say that. Full of life. She's a little hard to handle. A little kind of like I was at that age. And she did not like that my son was winning at Foursquare. So she just hauled off and kicked him.
Boom.
All right. So he kicked her back.
Okay.
Because he was defending himself. My daughter saw the whole thing. So when she goes up, my little girl of justice. She goes up, you don't kick my brother.
Yes.
And the girl says, I didn't. He kicked me first.
Ooh.
My daughter said, I saw the whole thing.
Oh, shit.
That is not true.
Let's play it back.
Told the teacher, teacher dealt, whatever. But later on, my daughter's in the car. She's sobbing. Oh, sissy, what's going on? Well, I really felt bad for Lennox, but I feel bad for her too. That's my sweet girl.
That's nice.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's like, Mom, what are you going to do?
Ooh. The fine line between justice and revenge.
Vengeance.
Revenge.
Put my cape on.
That's right.
So I just talked through, because we are a trauma family, right? We've been through trauma. We have kids with trauma because we've adopted. If you've adopted, you have kids with trauma. I don't even care if you got them at day one. They have trauma. So we talk a lot about trauma.
Okay.
So we talk a lot about when someone is acting either angry, or when someone honks and yells at mommy when she's driving. That person probably has had trauma.
Yes.
Could be caused by me and my driving. I'm just saying, there's always a reason.
And have you ever been on the giving end of trauma.
Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly to the point where
did you land on the bully spectrum?
One girl left school because of me.
Okay.
She did come back. I apologized. I grew in my walk with Jesus.
Okay.
Apologized, made it right. We are now friends.
True.
Yes.
Wow. All right.
But
Good
there
for
was
you.
some bridges that needed to be mended. I was just, I didn't know I was bullying. Back in our day, I don't remember it being like you're a bully. It was like...
That's life. Suck it up.
Kinda. A little bit. I mean, you'd tell teachers and they'd say, well, boys will be boys.
Yes.
That was the phrase.
Yeah.
Or, it's just Raylene.
Nice.
Back to the principal's office I would go.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, what about you? You
know, as you said that, I actually have been on the receiving end most of grade school, like a lot of bullying kind of things.
Or just, because for me, okay, I have a sarcastic sense of humor.
Yes.
And sometimes there's easy targets.
I was an easy target.
I think you would be. I think you would have been my easy target.
Absolutely.
I think you kind of are sometimes on the show.
Oh.
A little bit of an easy target.
Easy target. I can take it now, though.
Well, you're wearing flamingos. I'm just saying.
I don't see how these are connected.
It's an easy target.
Okay.
It's a funny thing to make fun of.
Okay, great. I don't care.
See, now you don't care.
No.
But would you have cared when you were little?
There was like a physical element to it. I remember there were these boys that would, and that was always the hard thing, right? Talk to mom, and she's like, well, if they're chasing you, don't run, because the reason they're chasing you is because you're running. And so then you stop, and then they kick you. So like, what's the solution here, right?
It's not funny, but it kind of is.
And then in junior high, there were these two guys every dumb day after English class. I would go out the door, and they were standing on either side, no matter how long I waited, whatever. And they would take their knees and kick me in the sides of the legs until I couldn't stand anymore.
Jeremy, that's not funny.
And then I was like, ha, 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 ha. And then one day, there was actually a back door. And so I tried to go out the back door.
Yes.
And then later, like, they found me, and they're like, you just made it worse. So I didn't really know how to stand up for myself.
Well,
so then
you tell somebody.
Well, that was the thing, is because then you're a tattletale, and then there's all this stuff.
That's true.
And I ran into different things with that, and that made sometimes worse too.
Yeah.
But then I acted inappropriately then by taking it out on other people, but emotionally.
Okay, and I think that's what's going on with our situation at school.
Possibly.
Yes.
Because there was this girl.
Yeah.
Didn't like her, not attracted to her, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's very nice.
Yeah.
But her friends came, they're like, hey, she really likes you. She really wants you to ask her out. And I saw this as an opportunity to have a little control.
Right.
So I'm like, wow, I like her too. But I'm not allowed to date. So she would have to ask me. And so there was like this whole build up, this whole thing. They're like, okay, she's going to ask you today. So she came to me and she's like, Jeremy, I really like you. Would you go out with me and be my boyfriend? And I just looked at her and I said, no.
Jeremy Scott Brinkerhoff.
No. And so at that moment I was like, And then I realized like, wow, like that was really cruel. I'm not just like that wasn't cool. Like that was actually cruel.
That was bait and switch.
That was cruel.
That was
and so
catfishing.
she was bawling, and then I kind of had this thing of like, well, people did it to me,
right?
And that's not right. Don't do that.
That is not right.
So, anyway.
Okay, my bullying, I feel like, is justified. The physical bullying. Couple of fights because I was standing up for someone else.
Okay.
I don't know if that's bullying, but because I have that sense of justice. Like, you're the weaker person, you know you're stronger, you're picking on her, so now I'm going to go toe-to-toe with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I see bullying as that persistent thing of, I'm trying to undercut you.
Okay.
Like, I want to take a piece of your dignity away every time.
And see, I think with those two boys, here's where my mind always goes now that I'm trauma informed. Something was going on in their world. For them to feel like they needed to do that.
Yes.
If you would have said, okay, what's going on at home? Something's going on.
As they're beating me.
Yes.
What's happening with your mom and dad? Are you okay? Tell me about your trauma. Like, yeah. Here's my trauma, jerk.
I'm just saying. Do you remember what was the story of the little kid at Christmas Story when he's all like He can't move
he's
because
like
he's got all his, Wasn't there bullies in that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And he like makes the fist and he just pops them.
Right.
Well, I saw that too. Like that was one of the coolest things. There was did we talk about this? I don't remember if we talked about this. But there was a kid named Joseph Lynn, super smart, super nice kid.
Yeah.
Starts being bullied by this kid.
Oh.
And I mean, like, every day, relentless, just in his face, calling him names, racial slurs, all this stuff, right? And Joseph, I mean, he handled himself so well, walking away calmly, whatever, didn't engage until one day he had enough. And we're sitting there and we're telling this guy, like, hey, dude, he's had enough, man. You gotta like lay off. And Joseph laid him out. I mean, laid him out. One punch Joseph. Just put him on his back.
Sorry.
And from that day forward, I mean, this is like one of those situations. Joseph stood up for himself.
Yes.
The next day, this kid's like best friend. Hey, Joseph, can I get this for you? I mean,
same
for the rest of the year.
Yep.
So nice.
I stood up to the school bully who did. She had a lot going on at home and all kinds of issues, and she was picking on people. And finally, I stood up to her and gave her what for. I won't go into detail. I won't glorify that.
Was there hair on the ground?
There might have been.
Okay.
There might have been
under your fingernails?
Hair. Might have been a banister and her hanging over it.
Oh.
Anyway, from then on, super sweet. Even came over for sleepovers.
Wow.
Yeah, we were very good friends.
Establish some of that thing.
I don't know what it is. I'm just saying, I think the bully thing, and then you've got the social media now for our kids and stuff. And I always go, I don't understand why you don't turn it off. I don't understand why. Why you don't just.
No.
I don't. Anyway, so I talked with my kids. I told them we're gonna love on our little said bully. We're gonna love on her. Don't have to be friends, but you got to be friendly and tell a teacher.
Yes.
That's how we solved it.
Yes. Oh, what I found also didn't work. I was encouraged to just say, "Leave me alone" in a strong, clear voice.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Leave me alone.
That would have made me stuff you in a locker.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
Then it just became the mantra as they kicked to you.
Leave me alone. You'd have been in the locker, pounding, leave me alone.
Please.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
Lots more stories there, but we have time constraints.
We do.
Because our guest is here.
She's here.
Our
she
guest
has
is
a
here.
crown on. She looks all pretty. She's got her sash. So you're wondering, who is this mystery guest?
Who could it be?
And I'm hoping that I say her name right, because I have to apologize. I know the people, know them by their first name, and then their last name becomes a problem. Like mine, Challinor. You'd think that would be easy. It's not. People get it wrong all the time.
I keep thinking it's a sh, but it's a ch.
Right, like chocolate. So, Alexes Niekamp.
Nice. I think it's easy, straightforward.
Miss Copperstate is here today, and here's her interview.
So, everyone, thank you. And we do have our guest with us now, Alexes Niekamp.
Yes, all right.
Ray
I did it again. I said it wrong.
Yes.
I even did my due diligence, and I messaged her this morning and said, would you please tell me how to say your last name? And she didn't get my message, and I said it wrong. So I apologize.
Again.
It's okay. I did get the other stuff right, though. She's Miss Copperstate.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And the crown. That's
yeah,
very nice.
I think I'm just going to wear one around town and just...
We needed like a special light that just like shines directly on the crown.
Nice?
Sparkles,
and,
all pretty.
Oh, like a disco ball.
Yes.
That'd have been so nice.
The old Star Search. You could have like those big...
Oh my gosh, I loved Star Search.
That'd be a good one.
I just wanted to be on
Alexes, thank you so much for joining us for today.
Yeah.
And for coming down, taking the time to be here with us. I'm sure you have a busy schedule, has to do with so many of our guests, but thanks so much for taking a bit to get together with us.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to know a little bit more about you, what's your story, what brought you here. So let's start at the beginning.
It's a very good place to start.
It is a very good place to start.
There's a song about that or something.
Sound of Music. Sound of Music.
Boom.
Brilliant.
Yes. She's a musical girl.
Awesome.
We're going to talk about that too.
Hopefully we will a bit later. So where were you born, grow up, and what brought you to Prescott?
Yeah, so I was born and raised halfway in San Jose, California.
Hey.
So Northern California.
Yes.
Moved here. We had a death in the family. We moved here. I was raised by two strong single women. My Nana, she was the death in our family, and then my mom. So we wanted to move out here to get closer to family.
Okay.
And so we came to Prescott when I was 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
And we visited Prescott for the first time when it was Christmas time. And so,
that's cool.
of course, you guys know in Prescott, like,
It's the
Nobody
deal.
does Christmas like Prescott.
It's the best, Jerry. It's
and
the
so you guys sold us. Prescott was
Nice.
sold. And so we moved here shortly after, and we've been here ever since. So we've been here for 15 years.
Wow.
And so was there
this
a
is my
family?
hometown.
This is your hometown.
There was
So I
family that
have
was in-
aunts, uncles,
Okay.
grandpa.
that were already here.
In the state or
I
in
didn't know
Prescott,
that.
actually?
Prescott and Phoenix.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. That's
Oh,
really
man.
good.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so dance.
Yes.
You own Lessons by Lexi.
Yes.
It's up at Gateway Mall.
Yes.
And my daughter is in one of her classes,
Yes,
and
she
she
is.
adores you.
She's amazing.
And before we get into your journey with dance, I just have to stop and say, because I have a menopausal brain and I won't remember this later. So I have to say
Important
it now.
things to say. Yes.
When we moved here 6 years ago, my daughter is adopted. She is a beautiful Puerto Rican girl, but she's very dark. And where we came from in Milwaukee, she blended right in.
Right.
Came to Prescott Valley,
Culture shock.
she stood out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was like, Lord, please hear my prayer. Because Sophia, first thing she says, Mama, where are all the brown skinned people? I'm like, baby, I don't know, but we're going to find them. So she wants to do dance. You were running a camp that year.
Yes.
We walk in for a little cheer camp, and here is Alexes.
Nice.
This gorgeous entrepreneur woman, role model for my daughter. And my daughter turns to me and goes like this. We found her. So
That's
I
awesome.
have
I love
goosebumps.
that. Yes,
'Cause
me
you
too.
were an answer to
Yeah.
our family. I'm not kidding. You were an answer to our family's prayer.
I love that. Thank you.
And
Yeah.
she adores you.
And I adore her.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay,
She's
so
amazing.
now at 10, were you already dancing when you
Yes.
got here?
Yeah, so I started dancing when I was 4 years old in California. And I had a dance studio where being from a single parent household, you can't afford dance easy at all. And
So
I
expensive.
loved dance so much that I took a lot of classes. So
Okay.
my dance teacher, the owner of the studio, her name was Marty. It was
Aw.
Marty's dance studio. She put me on scholarship.
Thank
And she
you,
was
Marty.
like, I see your passion, and that is what's so important to me. And she said before I moved out of town, she said, all I ask is someday you give back. And at the time, being 10, I'm
Right.
like, okay, that's cool. I'll give back, whatever. Like, I don't know what that means.
No idea what you're saying.
Yeah. So it came to light in high school when that's kind of the time in the life where you're kind of pushed to kind of figure out what you're doing with your
Right.
life and if you're going to go to college and what you're going to go to college for and what kind of your passions are.
No, why do we do that
I know.
to our little people? They're so
We're
young.
right in the thick of it with two of
It's
ours. So
horrible.
Yeah. And so that's when kind of that came to light of like giving back. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to find something that I'm still passionate about that I'm going to give back to my community. And I was like, well, I'm in a smaller town and I feel like I've created some really good relationships here and
Yes.
established some good connections. So I was like, okay, well, I love to dance. I want to do a dance studio. And everyone thought I was crazy because I was 19 years old at the time when I was
know.
like, hey, I want to open up a dance studio. And I was like, okay,
Great,
like,
here you go.
yeah,
Sure you
this.
do.
Yeah,
Sweetie.
you got this. And so
what's your backup?
she's like my exactly.
What's your backup?
What's your
And so
backup?
I went to college full time, NEU Yavapai, and then I worked full time at Planet Fitness as a manager.
Oh my word.
Well, during that time, I was saving up on the down low
Girl.
just to put like something towards a space for
Yeah.
myself. And I didn't care if it was like a corner or if it was like on the side of the road or what it was going to be, but I
Tent.
knew I was going to have a dance studio.
Yeah.
So kept looking at spaces, was never approved because I was 19 years old. They're
Right.
like, you're too young. I don't know if you're ever going to pay me rent. It was just a very like,
right.
I felt like I was very typecasted based on my age. And I
Yeah.
think that that's something that like our youth, like you can do whatever you want. Like you see
Yes.
kids graduating from Harvard before they're even 18.
Yes.
So like
Come on.
times are changing. So it was really interesting. I kind of was about to give up
Yeah.
after like a year of searching for like the perfect spot. I was sitting in the mall food court and with my mom and I was like, Mom, I guess you kind of were right about just making sure you have a plan B. And so that day actually, mall management was walking past
Yeah.
and my mom was like, well, have you thought about asking them? And I was like, no, like why would I put a dance studio in a mall?
Right.
And looked at one space. I was like, no, this just doesn't feel like anything. Looked in another space and I walked in and it was like, it felt like home.
Nice.
And it was
The
a
heavens
900 square
open.
foot space.
Okay.
all together. So
Yeah.
that's bathrooms included, everything.
Kind of tight.
Super small.
Tight.
Yeah, super small. But I opened that summer.
I
Okay.
think
Summer
that was
camps?
the summer
Yes, I think so.
2016 is when we came.
So it was that was 2 summers later,
Okay.
maybe. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So open with that space.
Yeah.
Super fun. We outgrew it really fast.
Yes.
Route 21 at the time was in the space I'm in now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so I used to go shopping at Route 21, which is kind of cool, to now have that be my dance studio. So now we're in a 5,369 square foot space, and we
Is
have
that
2
big?
huge
It's
studios within it.
Oh my
we have
gravy.
2
I didn't know that.
bathrooms.
2 bathrooms.
2 bathrooms.
Hey.
You can
Always-
choose
I have
which one
my
am I
own
gonna use.
office. I have there is so much space
You know what
for
I
the
love?
kids
The light.
and adults
you
to
have
enjoy.
2 huge walls of
Yeah.
massive windows.
Okay.
Yep, and that's another thing is my dance studio had windows, and that was like dance was a safe space for me. So like I always found that as my escape and like
Okay.
my outlet from school and just like extracurriculars. Like dance was my one home.
Yeah.
And so I had by my ballet bars a window, and like I would always try to get the window spot because it was just so important that like no matter how hard you train, you still need to be able to have that like look outside and be like, okay, it's okay, everything's gonna be fine. I didn't point my toe that time, I'll do better next time, and just like have that breathing moment with the window. So we are literally surrounded by windows.
Yes.
And one thing that's so cool is like I was like, okay, I want a dance studio with windows one day, and it just kind of all worked out. Like after 3 years of being in business, I was like, okay, it's time to make that move.
cool.
Make that leap,
Yes.
I guess
Yeah.
you could say,
Haha.
Into
Get it?
the new
Oh,
space,
like
like
a-
leap. Yeah.
Come on.
The little kicky legs.
He doesn't
Yeah.
get the dance stuff.
It's all good. It's all good.
'Cause-
But yeah, so we're coming up on 6 years.
Yay.
Awesome.
May 26th.
Congratulations.
Will be
Yes.
6 years.
That's
Congratulations.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, and you were going to share with us, because I know as you as Lexi.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
So my childhood nickname, I had a best friend. His name was Matthias, and they were actually from Denmark. And it was really cool because I got to establish myself and embrace myself in like different cultures growing up in California, being younger. It was really cool, which is why I can connect to so many people and have so many people from diverse backgrounds come to my studio. But he called me Kiki because he could not say my name Alexis, which was interesting, like where Kiki would even come from. And it came from a comic book that he was reading, and he just, the pretty girl in the comic book was the pretty girl who sat next to him and
was
like
you.
was always, and so I was like, okay, my name's Kiki. And then it started to turn into Lexi. And so that has been my childhood name. Lex or Lexi has always been a thing. And so my actual name is actually spelled Alexes too. It's not the proper spelling of
Okay.
Alexis. And so it's Lexe, which is a little different too. And Lessons by Lexi rolls off the tongue a
It
little bit better
does.
than Lessons by Alexis.
Yes, it does.
So that's kind of how
Okay.
Lexi came to be.
Love it.
Yeah.
So at the dance studio, is there a particular discipline in dance that you specialize in, or you kind of hit all different areas, ballet to hip hop, or what is your main thing? What do you personally like to do most?
Yes. So we teach many styles, all different types of styles: ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, lyrical, contemporary, musical theater. That's what Sophia's in. Modern, also adult classes.
Okay.
We teach couples, bride and grooms. We just like
nice.
I would've
we're
loved
wrapping
that.
up wedding season, and it's super fun, super crazy.
Okay.
We just taught a lot of first dances, a lot of flash mobs. Those are fun too.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
really cool one.
I'd like to get in
No,
for one of those. Come on, Jeremy.
No, I saw that look. No, we're good. Thank you, though.
Yeah, so we teach a lot of different styles, and then
That's
my
awesome.
personal favorite is tap.
Okay.
Okay.
I absolutely hated tap. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys.
Really?
When I was growing up, I didn't like hearing my mistakes
Oh,
because that is one of those
you can't hide that.
that you really
Yeah.
can't hide it if you're the person that's off. Like
Right.
if there's tons of tap feet in the room and you're the one who shuffle ball changed when it was supposed to be a shuffle step, like
Right.
the
Yeah.
teacher's looking at you. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
that was my hardest, like one of the biggest challenges in dance that I had to overcome, and I think that's why it's my favorite now, which is
Okay.
why it's my talent with the Miss America organization. So I do tap dancing for my talent on stage.
Love it.
Okay.
But tap, it was not my favorite to start,
Okay.
but that is my favorite now to teach and to dance.
If I were to dance, which
Yes.
I
River
don't-
dance. Arms at the side.
No.
No.
Irish?
No. Okay. What?
But thank you. I have the wrong hair color or something. I don't know. Anyway, no, definitely tap. Certainly
Definite-
tap.
Oh, I could see you.
Because
Would you- with
like
the
Tommy
little-
Toon and like he's actually
Okay.
built long and slender.
Right.
So many dancers, like, I don't know.
Fred Astaire, tall and thin.
Really cool.
And
really cool. Tap dancing is a, I don't know. I've always thought that was something I would want to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think
was
tap,
muscular.
something about tap that's so cool is like you can actually feel it too. So I've had a couple of kids who come in who like they are hard of hearing.
Yeah.
So they would feel my vibrations of the floor, and then that's how they learn how to tap.
Oh, that is
awesome.
So
amazing.
you can not only see, hear, like pretty much you can use all your senses
Yeah.
in tap. And so I think that's
pretty
so
cool.
important because it's not something like you can literally be blind and you can still hear tap.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So
that is
it's
cool.
little things like that where you just don't take it into consideration until you're like fully invested and you're like, wow, that's really cool.
That is
So
neat.
everyone can have that experience with tap.
That's slick. I like that.
Slick. I like
So now Marissa, on the other hand, she wants us to do a couple's like hip hop class.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't have the rhythm for that. Like
I don't know about
we
that.
could find it.
If
We
you
could find it. We could find
see,
it.
and you
Word.
play. Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know.
Word. I don't know
It'd
if
be
anybody
another.
says that
It'd be
anymore.
another one of those things where I'm just asking to be bullied. To be like,
And I would be the one
Yes.
laughing at you at the back of the class. I would. No, everybody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and he can play instruments. So you have rhythm, you have
Yeah.
timing. You could do it.
Not that timing. Do you remember The Jerk? Where
Yes.
Steve
Yeah.
Martin, he's
Yes.
like, and then the song comes on, he's like, oh, yeah. He's got it. Everything else, no, that's me. Like, yeah.
You know what?
So,
but if
maybe
your
I should
wife
give it a
wants
try.
you to do
Just
it, you
for-
should
yeah,
give it a
just for
try.
kicks. Just for kicks.
You should give
Yeah.
it a try.
All right,
I think
fair
so.
enough.
Yep.
So now tell us more about the beauty pageant side. You mentioned the Miss America.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did that get started?
Yeah, so fun fact, actually Miss America now is a scholarship organization. We are no
Okay.
longer a beauty pageant. So we made that
Okay.
switch over a couple years ago, which is why I got involved in the Miss America organization.
Okay.
Okay.
So I got involved in the Miss America organization 3 years ago. I was Miss Parker, and then I was Miss Yavapai County last year. I held that title for 2 years straight because of COVID. And then
So
Longest
thank you,
grading
Brian.
champion. Thank
Yeah.
you.
and so now I'm Miss Copperstate, which is also a Yavapai County local title with
Okay.
the Yavapai County Scholarship Organization. So what Miss America is it's a scholarship organization that empowers young women to help them go to college, help them get more scholarships to put towards their careers, life ambitions, and then also highlights like your passions. So we all have to have a social impact. So my
Okay.
social impact is arts in action, applying remarkable talents to succeed, keeping arts instilled in our communities and our schools.
Good.
Just because arts is, as you guys know,
Your
that's
thing.
So
my heart and
important.
soul. That's
Yeah.
my middle
So
name.
important.
And so that's my social impact. And each woman on that stage, and we do a teen and a miss division, has a social impact. So it's whatever is true to them and what they find a passion in. And so that's something that's really cool that like we can all be celebrated as women together.
Yeah.
And as young teens together to just show off our passions and show why we care so much about like what we do and give back to the community. So it's cool to be surrounded by other really driven women like that. We also have
Yes.
a princess program. It's really cool.
Yes, I've been
And
looking
so,
into that.
Yeah, the Arizona Princess
been what?
program.
I've been looking into it
Oh.
for Sophia.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
good, for
Arizona
Sophia.
Princess program
Yeah,
is all
for
about
Sophia.
mentoring.
Well, I mean, you know, I would like to be a princess too.
But yeah,
Crown. I want
that
a
one's
crown.
all about the mentorship of it. So
Oh,
we're
okay.
getting the younger, our youth, involved in the MAO organization a lot sooner too, which is really cool.
It is
and
cool.
it helps also with speaking engagements. I think that's something that's important too because we all have to stand up in front of the class at one point in time and give a presentation,
Oh, yeah.
whether we want to or not. And I think just taking that fear away is so important because
Very important.
that's what Miss America, that's our goal now.
Yes.
Is
That's awesome.
Just getting real women out in the community.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I saw something on Lessons by Lexi.
Yes.
You also have a theater. You also have,
Yeah.
is it all musicals?
Yeah, so most of them, yeah, they've all been musicals so far.
And what's it called?
It's called One Stage Family Theater.
Family Theater.
Okay.
And One Stage Family Theater is actually a local nonprofit organization that I'm a board member of.
Okay.
I help with their choreography, also some of their social media,
Okay.
and as well as just helping with the overall foundation of the nonprofit. My mom, Tammy Niekamp, she actually
She's here.
started the nonprofit with Shauna Lujan, and they are two very empowered women in my life who literally have not stopped. And I think that that's something that's so important for our youth and just for everyone in general. Even during the pandemic, we found ways to like help get the arts out. And so One Stage Family Theater, they are near and dear to my heart and soul just because they also use my space, Lessons by Lexi, as their rehearsal space. So they use that space to learn their dances, learn their singing, acting, blocking, everything. So they put on a full show together, and then they go and perform it at the Elks.
Yes,
and so the Elks
right
Theater.
now, Footloose
just finished last weekend.
Oh, wow.
Susical Jr. just had
Susical?
the
Oh, that's a fun
audition last night, and we had
No, we
like
missed
25
it.
show up, and it was so amazing.
That's good.
Missed it.
It's okay.
And then I'm trying to talk him into being Oliver.
Yes,
I think our
Oliver is going to be
families,
so fun.
isn't it? Wouldn't he be
And
a
that's
great
exactly,
Fagin?
we have a lot of families who literally bring their entire family,
Yeah,
and that's like their
that's what we
bonding of
wanna
the
do.
week. And it's so cool
That's
because
awesome.
we also don't like to overload rehearsals. Like, we understand everyone has lives, and I think that that's so important too, is because like family time is important to us, and that's why we're called One Stage Family Theater.
Okay.
And we have a lot of families who do take time to participate in our shows, and they go as a
Yes.
family,
Yes.
and that's like their family night.
Our friend
To
Tisha
rehearsals.
from Beautiful
Yes.
You Spray Tanning, she
Yes.
was in one of those.
Yes.
And remember, she was just saying it was such a great time to bond with her
She was in
daughter.
Descendants.
Yeah. And I mean, your whole family is musical and talented, and so I think you guys would be great.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I-
that's honestly how the one from the Presbyterian Church.
oh yeah.
Anyway, when they did
Right.
Matilda,
Yes.
that's why I got involved, because both Ethan and Ella were in it, and so then there
like,
was
so
an
cool.
opening for me to be the Trunchbull. So and it did.
It's like
it was a
breathing for you.
perfect space to be together and doing something
and if
and
you're
have
at
and
rehearsals, you're not missing family time.
no,
'cause you're
not at
together
all.
as a family.
No, we were having a blast.
Instead
so
of watching
it can be
TV
really
or
fun.
something. I think
yeah.
it's so great.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I
and then
think it's
at
so
the
important.
Elks is such a cool place. Now that it's
she's
completely
got
redone,
it
it is
in. I'm
gorgeous.
telling ya,
It
I
is such a
know.
cool spot. I mean,
Such
you
a great
feel like a
spot.
star
Yes,
For sure.
being
Yeah.
on the
totally.
stage of the Elks.
But
so.
that is not all that this woman does.
No.
So
there's-
you were just
but
at
wait,
a game.
There's more.
You were just at a Northern Arizona Wrangler game.
My first Wrangler game, my first indoor arena football
Thank
game.
you for your support.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
cool, and
Yes.
it was because of a work event for Desert Financial. My wife's a financial advisor with Desert Financial, and they like sponsored the game
do.
or something.
Yes, it's so
and so
great.
we had like a little section behind one of the field goal post things and
Ooh,
the
good
uprights.
seats.
Yes, and so it was fun, man. It's a really cool thing, and they're a good team this year, and so it was really
Oh, I
exciting.
keep trying
and
to get them on the show.
I mean, you
Plug,
see,
plug,
like, especially in that arena, man, you see everything.
I know.
So you're
Isn't
part
that
of the
fun?
action.
And I always see pictures of the kids like right up
Oh
there.
yeah,
And
it was a really
I think
fun
that's so
family thing
great.
because right after the game was done, we saw people going onto the field, and at first I'm like, "Oh, kids, I don't know, like they might be not those kids, you know."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, this is great." And so people come down, players are signing balls.
They
with
do
the-
autographs.
Yeah.
They do a huge prayer circle at the end.
Yes.
It's really cool. It's very spiritual and a very good experience for all.
Okay, but what
to
do
just be
you
a part
do
of.
with
I'm
them?
the dance team coach
Yes, you are.
for the Northern Arizona Wranglers Mustangs dance team.
Mustangs.
Mustangs.
Yeah.
Mustangs.
So
Sally.
they
Mustang
actually
Lexi.
were in a fun fact how I got into this. They were in a press conference, and I was sitting in on it at Finley Toyota Center. And they were announcing that there was going to be an indoor football league team because
Okay.
they were going to tell everyone, this was last year, what was going to be coming to Finley Toyota Center, excuse me. And so I was sitting in the press conference, and the second I heard indoor football league, they were like, does anyone have any questions? And so I stood up in front of the panel,
One or two.
and I was like, do you guys have a dance team or some
Yeah.
sort of cheer or like hype team for them? And they're like, well, we've never actually thought of that. And I was like, well, I'm your person to call. So about 3 days later, I got a phone call, went in for an interview, and I helped build this dance team into what it is today. And it's super exciting. We started with
fun.
8 last year. We have 11 this year.
Okay.
So we're getting bigger and bigger, which is great. Our
I
impact is
almost
huge.
tried out this year.
Yep, you should have.
I just thought it would have been funny. I mean,
sorry,
you
I
know,
didn't
the
laugh.
middle-aged
Good
woman,
experience.
and I mean, I used to be a cheerleader. It could come back to me.
I
You
love
know,
it.
the lycra would have to be a little tighter. But I did. I thought, hey, that would be fun. At least just to try out, to show my daughter, like, just do it. If you want it, just do it.
Exactly.
I still ride the shopping cart to the van.
Exactly.
I hop on the back and I ride.
Never
just do
let
it.
your age hinder you.
No, I just
Exactly.
think, yeah. So maybe next year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year I'll try out.
And I'll be out there throwing. Yep. That'll
Throwing
happen.
stuff at me, or what do you mean
No.
throwing?
The people.
Oh, okay. All right, you're gonna be a bass. It's all about that bass.
Yep. Sure is.
Oh
That's
man,
awesome.
sister, you
Thanks,
are a busy girl.
Yeah. Fingers
Super
in a lot
fun.
of
Yeah,
places.
just being able to, it's going back to the arts.
Yeah.
Being able to have that arts impact in everything I do. So
You do.
Yeah.
Even when you walked into the porch, which is where we are recording from, a little plug, everyone was like, hey, you're like Norm from Cheers. Lexi's here.
Slightly different.
All right, well,
Maybe a little different.
people know her. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. Okay. People know her.
People know her.
Different than being Norm.
Even without the crown, people know her.
That's awesome. So, Lex, one of the last things that we'd like to ask people, just and especially, I mean, you have all kinds of different influences in your life that have brought you to this point. But who would you get together with if you were to just pick one person out of history or current day? Like, what would that look like? Who would you like to get together with?
Yes.
Okay, so as some of you may or may not know, I have like two main favorite animals.
Okay.
And one of them's a lion.
Okay. It's all over her studio.
That is literally
Oh,
the
is it?
logo of Lessons by Lexi Dance
Yes.
Studio.
Nice. Okay.
And then another one is an elephant.
Oh, yes.
Elephants have always
You
been
a couple of
important to
those
me,
too.
just because they're very at peace and it's a wild and untamed kind of situation, but still back to your stomping grounds. Like, it reminds you to just no matter how big you get, just to stay within in your peace. And I think that that's something so important. So my person would have to be Meghan Markle.
Okay.
Oh.
Because although she's been
Good
in the
one.
spotlight a lot,
Yes.
she does a lot of charity work, and she does a lot of charity work for elephants and conservations, and I don't know if anyone knows that.
I did
but she
not know that.
does. And I think that that's something that I've always wanted to do, just to be able, I think it's a different type of vibe. And it's not something that everyone would expect, and I think talking to her, she's been one of those people that has stayed very true to herself, even though being in the spotlight. And I think that that's hard to do, especially being royalty in a big spotlight.
Yeah.
You literally
not
don't
very kind.
have,
Not a kind
Right,
spotlight.
not a
Exactly.
kind spotlight.
And so she's stayed very true to herself and stuck with her endeavors of charity work and stuck to who she was, instead of listening to, okay, well, I want you to do a tiger conservation versus an elephant one. No, she did the elephant one because that's what she's pulled to and she's drawn
I
to.
gotcha.
So keeping her passions, I think, leveled and being in the spotlight, I think I would like to talk to her a little bit more about that, because I think getting into the job of Miss Copperstate and a local business owner and constantly getting bigger and things like that, people tend to lose themselves. And I think that that's something that's
Stay
really
grounded.
important. Yeah.
I don't see that being a problem for you. No.
Well, and
But
especially
it's cool to talk to people. I think that would be cool to talk to someone who's
really
been
good.
through that.
That is
Yeah,
good.
definitely.
Good insight.
Oh, and that's a great thing. When you're asking those kind of questions, you're already on the right track, right? People who are completely unaware of
Right.
no, I don't think it's a problem at all.
No.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
need
it's
to. I need to
fine.
have that. Then that's when you get
Yeah.
just blindsided.
Right. Pride, fall.
Yes,
Yeah.
that whole thing. That's really cool. I like that
yeah.
perspective. So
Thank you so much for
Yes.
spending time with us, for getting together with us
Yes.
today here at the porch. Coffee community conversation. We done it all.
yes,
We done it all
yes,
today.
we have. Yes, we have. So please share, subscribe, and with all of these guests,
Vote.
there's vote. There's always an element that touches a life of someone you know. So go ahead and share this, like it, subscribe, so that you don't miss a single moment of getting together. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye. That's a wrap.